Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Lisa Claypool. I am a professor in the History of Art, Design, and Visual Culture program at the University of Alberta. And joining me today is Dr. Chun Wa Chan. Welcome, Chun Wa.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Professor Claypool, for introducing me.
Today I'd like to talk with you about one of your favorite artworks. But before we do that, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about how you got into the field and study of art history.
Sure. It was actually completely by accident. I was planning to major in history and geography when I entered my bachelor degree program. But the program had 1 year exploration in which students can take whatever classes they like in other departments. So I just happened to walk into a classroom of art history in which the lecturer, which is my first art history teacher, she was comparing an image of a Laufen Song Dynasty landscape with a panoramic view of landscape in Renaissance time. And for some reason, it just clicks. And I love art. I'm not very good in making artwork, but I love artwork. I like going to museum, and I like history. So what's the better way to combine my interests together? And hence here I am, 30 years later, I'm teaching art history right now.
So this was your first course, that was at the Hong Kong University, is that right?
Yes, so it's an introduction to art classes. It's a overview of like major monuments in different parts of the world. So it just
and then
completely opened my eyes.
Yeah, eventually you made your way to the University of Michigan.
Yes, exactly. So I applied for the graduate study in Michigan, specializing in Buddhist art in East Asia. And after that, I teach at different university, and I'm very happy now that I'm joining the University of Alberta.
Yes, we're happy to have you be part of our community. Perhaps you can show us a picture of one of your favorite artworks.
Sure. Let me share this work with you all. Okay, so I'm a Buddhist art historian, so I have to show one of my favorite Buddhist art pieces. This is one of the work from the Metropolitan Museum of Art, from Tang Dynasty, China. When we think about Buddhist art, we always think about, say, colorful, majestic, immersive mural painting or sculpture in Dunhuang Cave or major temple in different parts of Asia. But in this case, I'm fascinated by this work because although it looks humble, the material is not the most expensive at that time. It actually tells a lot of the story of different ways how Buddhism was perceived and transmitted across Asia. In this case, what you're looking at here is a 7th century work associated with the monk Xuanzang, who, as we all know, had traveled to South Asia and back, bringing with him scripture and records of miraculous images from India to China. So the work here you're looking at is one of the clay tablet images associated with the monastic productions of the monk Xuanzang. So that shows this interesting relationship between India and China in the earliest Buddhist development in Tang Dynasty. Another reason why I'm fascinated by this work is it raised a lot of questions about what makes an image effective or what considered as a real presence in terms of medieval Buddhist art in China. As you can see on your right, it actually has an inscription saying that this is a true image, the true body of the Buddha made in the Tang Dynasty. So because at that time, when we talk about 7th century, the historical Buddha are long gone. Even if we have relic, it was distributed in different parts of India. It's very difficult to authenticate relic at that time. So one of the ways that Buddhist community come up to enhance the efficaciousness of an artwork, as you can see here, is to say that this image had the true presence of the historical Buddha, because the central figure, as you can see in the triad, the pose resemble a miraculous image found in one of the pilgrimage sites, in this case, Bodh Gaya in South Asia. So the gesture alone and the sincerity of the makers, in this case, mostly are people who support the monastery, the Xuanzang Bell, in this particular time. So the sincerity of the makers and the donor involved is enough to authenticate the power of this image. So it really addressed a lot of interesting questions about what is an effective image for the period, for the Tang Dynasty for people at that time. Another reason, one more, is that it's the afterlife of these images. What you're looking at actually is because it's more importable, it was actually transmitted to East and Southeast Asia.
Right.
One interesting case of this is in Japan, we have very similar work showing this kind of triad made with clay and also in bronzes. And what is so interesting about the Japanese case is that they actually rendered the triad in a rectangular shape so that the image can be stacked on top of one another to decorate the interior of a temple. So it's something that was not done necessarily in continental context, but was reappropriated and repurposed in Japan. So I really love this work because it shows us many different ways on how Buddhism can be understood and appreciated from India all the way to Japan. And I think this is one of my favorite pieces from the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Well, thank you. That's fascinating. I love the idea that the sincerity of belief can impart a kind of genuineness and authenticity to a figure.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for sharing. And Dr. Chan is going to be teaching classes in Chinese and Japanese art this coming year. So if you're interested, check out the course catalog. And thank you for joining me today, Dr. Chan.
Thank you, Professor Claypool, and thank you for everyone. I look forward to seeing all of you who are interested in Asian art in this coming semester. Thank you so much.